Lila stood in line, clutching her baby, Jonah, close to her chest. Her feet ached on the hard, dusty ground. The town was harsh and unwelcoming, with wooden buildings and sparse people. The sun blazed down, creating a stifling heat. Around her, other women stood silently, all with the same purpose, though no one spoke of it. The air hung heavy with fear and resignation. The auctioneer's voice pierced the silence like a knife. He stood on a wooden platform, barking numbers and names. To him, the women were just items to sell. Each call made Lila shiver. She looked down at Jonah, asleep in her arms, praying he wouldn't sense her fear. She remembered how she ended up here. Her husband had died shortly after Jonah's birth. She struggled to make a life for them, but it was tough. Work was scarce, and a man she trusted deceived her, bringing her here to be sold. Her heart pounded as her turn approached. She wanted to flee, but there was no escape. The crowd watched, some curious, others indifferent. She felt trapped like an animal in a cage. When the auctioneer reached her, he paused, eyeing Lila and Jonah. The crowd murmured, some voices mocking. Someone bid a low price, laughter following. Lila tightened her grip on Jonah, panic rising. Then, from the crowd's edge, a man stepped forward. Tall and imposing, his clothes marked him as different. His eyes were sharp, his expression serious. The crowd turned, curious and unsure. The man held a small object, a tribal artifact, unique and valuable. He offered it to the auctioneer, proposing it as a trade for Lila's freedom. The auctioneer hesitated, uncertain. The crowd whispered, some shocked, others skeptical. Lila watched, her heart racing. The man's words were clear, she was not property. Hope flickered within her, a feeling she had nearly forgotten. The auctioneer, seeing the artifact's worth, reluctantly agreed. The crowd murmured, but no one objected. The man gestured for Lila to step down. She hesitated, then moved slowly, her legs unsteady. She clutched Jonah, fearing a trick. But the man's calm, steady expression gave her a sense of safety. As she stepped off the platform, the crowd parted. The man guided her through, shielding her from their eyes. Lila felt their gazes, but focused on the path ahead. Once away from the crowd, Lila turned to the man. She wanted to thank him, to ask why he helped. But words escaped her. The man seemed to understand. He nodded, gesturing for her to follow. They walked together, leaving the town behind. The noise faded, replaced by footsteps and wind. Lila glanced at Jonah, sleeping peacefully. The man's presence was comforting, though she knew nothing about him. As they walked, Lila tried to calm her racing thoughts. She was free, but the future was uncertain. She had no idea where they were headed or what awaited them. But for the first time in a long while, she felt a glimmer of hope. The man led her through the rough terrain, maintaining a steady pace. He seemed to know the way, easing some of Lila's fears. She followed, trusting him despite her doubts. Finally, they reached a small clearing, quiet and surrounded by trees. The man stopped, turning to Lila. He gestured for her to rest by a small stream. She nodded, grateful for the chance to sit. Lila lowered herself, careful not to wake Jonah. She watched as the man filled a container with water, bringing it back to her. She accepted it, drinking deeply. As she rested, Lila wondered about the man. Why had he helped her? What did he want in return? She knew the world was harsh and help often had a price. But the man seemed different, though she couldn't say why. After a while, the man sat nearby. He remained silent, but his presence was reassuring. Lila felt a sense of calm, something she hadn't felt in ages. She looked at Jonah, then at the man, feeling a connection forming. The man finally spoke, his voice quiet but firm. He introduced himself as Koda. He didn't share much, only that he knew what it was like to be alone and in danger. Lila listened, sensing the truth in his words. Koda explained the artifact he used to free her. It was meaningful to him, a symbol of his heritage and promise to help others. Lila felt deep gratitude, though she struggled to express it. As the sun set, Koda stood ready to continue their journey. Lila rose too, adjusting Jonah. She looked at Koda, feeling newfound respect and trust. Together, they set off into the growing darkness, leaving the past behind. Lila's mind was full of questions, but she was content to follow. She knew the road ahead would be long, but with Koda's help, she believed they could find a new beginning. As they walked, she felt her fears lift, replaced by a sense of possibility. Lila followed Koda, her heart a mix of hope and uncertainty. The path was rugged, filled with rocks and branches. Koda moved confidently. Lila tried to match his pace, careful not to stumble. Jonah slept soundly, his small breaths comforting her. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in orange and purple. The air cooled, a welcome change. Lila focused on Koda, trusting him to lead them to safety. Her mind was full of questions, but she kept them to herself. As they walked, Lila's thoughts drifted to her life before the auction. She remembered the small house with her husband and their dreams. Those dreams shattered with his death, leaving her to fend for herself and Jonah. She tried to be strong to find work, but the world was harsh. People judged her, a widow with a baby, and help came with strings attached. The betrayal that led her to the auction still stung. She trusted a man who promised a job and safe place. Instead, he brought her to that town, intending to sell her. The memory of his deceit made her shudder. But she pushed it aside, focusing on the present and Coda, who saved her. After a long walk, they reached a dense forest. The trees towered, leaves whispering in the wind. Coda led through the thick underbrush, his path winding and hidden. Lila followed, feeling the forest close in. The sound of nature was around, a gentle melody easing her tension. Coda stopped at a small clearing, barely visible. It was a hidden camp nestled among trees. A few tents and shelters dotted the area, a fire burned softly. Lila took in the sight of people moving about, their faces wary but kind. Coda gestured for her to sit by the fire, warmth and light comforting. Lila lowered herself, adjusting Jonah. She watched as Coda spoke to a few people, their expressions serious. They glanced at her, then nodded, accepting her. Lila felt relief. This place was different, a refuge for those in need. She saw it in the way people moved, their eyes holding stories of struggle and survival. Here, she was not alone. These people understood, easing her fears. Coda returned, sitting and offering food. Lila took it, realizing her hunger. She ate slowly, savoring each bite, while Jonah slept. Coda watched, gaze gentle and understanding. They sat by the fire. Coda shared his story quietly. He spoke of his losses, family lost to violence and betrayal. His journey shaped him into who he was now. A protector, a guide for those in need. Lila listened, feeling a connection. She saw the pain in his eyes, but also strength. He had suffered like she had, yet chose to help others. It was a choice she respected. Coda explained the camp's purpose, a haven for outcasts. People with nowhere else to go, needing time to heal and find themselves. Lila felt belonging, something she hadn't felt in ages. Here, she could start anew, away from harsh judgments. As night deepened, the camp settled. People tended to tasks, faces relaxed under firelight. Lila watched, feeling both outsider and part of this community. It would take time to adjust, but she was ready. Coda spoke, voice low and calm. He told her of skills to learn, ways to survive and protect herself. Lila nodded, eager to learn. She wanted to be strong for herself and Jonah. She wanted to build a safe life. Lila began to trust Coda. His presence was steadying, words comforting. They shared understanding born from hardships. It was a bond that felt right. Eventually, Coda stood, showing her where to rest. Lila followed, steps lighter. He led to a tent, simple but warm. Inside, she laid Jonah down, watching him sleep. She sat beside him, feeling exhaustion. Coda paused at the entrance, looking back. Lila met his gaze, feeling gratitude and hope. She knew the journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but with Coda's help, they could find a new beginning. As she lay beside Jonah, Lila closed her eyes, letting camp sounds lull her. Her mind full of questions, but she felt peace. Tomorrow would bring challenges, but she was ready. With Coda and the camp, she had a chance to build a future, a life free from fear. Lila woke to camp sounds. The air was cool, dawn light crept in. Jonah was still asleep, chest rising steadily. Lila watched, feeling love and responsibility. She got up quietly, careful not to disturb him. Outside, the camp bustled. People tended to chores, preparing for the day. Lila felt purpose, ready to join. Coda was nearby, talking with a group. He saw Lila, nodding acknowledgement of their journey. Lila joined, listening to tasks for the day. Everyone had a role, keeping the camp running smoothly. Lila helped gather supplies, an important task. She joined others, setting off into the forest. The forest was peaceful, company reassuring. She worked with other women, each with their story. Some young, others older, all faced hardships. They shared tales as they worked, voices low but steady. Lila listened, feeling connected. Their stories reminded her she wasn't alone. As the day went on, Lila learned about the camp and its people. She watched how they supported each other, sharing what little they had. It was a community built on trust and survival. Lila felt belonging, something she hadn't felt in ages. In the afternoon, Coda gathered everyone by the fire. He spoke about the importance of learning new skills, of being able to protect themselves. Lila listened, eager to learn. She wanted to be strong to ensure a safe future for her and Jonah. Coda taught survival skills. Finding food, building shelter, defending if needed. Lila followed instructions, determined to master each task. Others learned alongside, helping each other. As she practiced, Lila's confidence grew. She was no longer the frightened woman from the auction. Here, she was capable and strong, someone who could take care of herself and Jonah. It was a transformation she embraced, feeling proud. Over time, Lila formed connections with camp women. They shared meals, stories, and laughter, bonds strengthening. Lila no longer felt like an outsider. She was part of something bigger, a community that cared. Through stories, Lila learned about Koda's past. He suffered great loss, but chose to help others. His strength inspired her, and she respected him. Their relationship grew, rooted in respect and shared experiences. Lila noticed Koda's presence, guiding and supporting. He led by example, kindness and patience a guiding light. Lila was grateful knowing her life changed for the better because of him. Despite camp peace, tension lingered. Bounty hunters threatened, a constant reminder. Lila knew they had to be ready to protect their home. One evening, Koda gathered the camp. He spoke of risks and vigilance. Lila listened, feeling weight of words. She understood importance of being prepared, standing together. Camp members nodded, resolve clear. A family bound by struggles and survival. Lila felt pride, part of something strong. As days turned to weeks, Lila settled into life. She woke with purpose, ready for challenges. The camp was home, a place where she and Jonah could be safe. Lila thought about the future, about the life she wanted for Jonah. A world where he grew up free, surrounded by care. A dream she held close, determined to make real. In quiet moments, Lila sat with Koda, sharing hopes and fears. He listened, offering wisdom and support. Their bond deepened, friendship forged in shared journey. Lila knew the road wouldn't be easy, but she wasn't afraid. She found strength in herself and the community. Together, they would face anything, ready to protect their freedom. As night fell, Lila sat by the fire, watching flames dance. Jonah slept in her lap, face calm. She looked around at her new family. Her heart full, knowing she found a place where she belonged. In that moment, Lila felt peace. She had come far from the frightened woman she was. Here, in this camp, she found a new beginning. A life filled with hope, love, and the promise of tomorrow. Life in the camp continued its rhythm. Each day brought new tasks and challenges, but community made it easier. Lila grew stronger, taking pride in her role. Bonds were strong, built on trust and experiences. One morning, a scout brought news. A new group of bounty hunters tracked them, more ruthless. The news spread unease, a reminder of danger. Koda called a meeting, serious. He explained, urging vigilance. They had to prepare for confrontation, ensuring defenses and supplies. Lila felt fear and determination. They faced danger before and would again. Koda assigned roles. Lila took leadership, organizing defenses. She worked with Koda, strategizing and ensuring readiness. Her mind raced with plans, determined to protect home. As they worked, tensions rose. The threat loomed, a reminder of danger. Lila pushed fear aside, focusing on tasks. She had to be strong for herself and Jonah. One afternoon, Lila noticed supplies missing, unease settling. She alerted Koda, conducting a search. It was clear someone betrayed them, taking supplies to hunters. The discovery added tension and mistrust. Lila felt anger and disbelief. They worked hard to build a safe community, now violated. They had to find the betrayer. Koda called a meeting, urging honesty. Lila watched faces, searching for guilt. The situation's weight was heavy, knowing they had to act. The camp's atmosphere was tense, each person on edge. Lila continued her duties, focused on finding the betrayer. She spoke with women, listening to concerns. Eventually, truth came to light. A young man, new to camp, confessed, eyes filled with regret. Lila felt anger and pity. He was desperate, protecting his family. Koda handled it gracefully, ensuring he understood gravity. The camp voted, giving a chance to make amends. It was difficult, but rooted in forgiveness. With betrayal exposed, the camp prepared for threat. Lila worked tirelessly, ensuring defenses and supplies. She felt determination, knowing readiness was crucial. Camp members united, bonds strengthened. Each person played a part, protecting home. Lila felt pride in unity, knowing strength lay together. As days passed, tension eased. Preparations complete, camp ready. Lila felt calm, knowing they had done everything possible. Despite threat, life continued. People laughed and shared stories, spirits lifted by community strength. Lila watched Jonah play, his laughter a reminder of the future. One evening, Koda praised efforts, acknowledging challenges. Lila listened, heart full of gratitude for family built. They faced danger, coming out stronger. Koda shared artifacts' significance, a symbol of commitment. Lila felt deep respect, knowing his leadership guided through times. Their bond strong, partnership built on trust. As night deepened, Lila sat by the fire, reflecting on journey. They overcame challenges, building life together. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but with Coda and Camp, she was ready. The stars twinkled, a reminder of the world. Lila felt peace, knowing they weren't alone. Together, they would face challenges, protecting home and future filled with promise. Camp was quiet, each member focused. Calm belied tension. They knew threat was real, hunters could strike anytime. Lila moved through camp, checking supplies and speaking with members. Heart steady, mind focused. She had to be strong for all. Coda worked tirelessly, organizing defenses. His leadership was strength. Lila admired his calm, grateful for guidance. As sun climbed, a shout rang out. Hunters approached, figures visible. Camp sprang into action, each person taking position. Lila felt adrenaline, senses heightened. Coda moved quickly, directing. His voice calm, instilling confidence. Lila joined others, heart pounding, resolve firm. She was ready to protect home. Hunters approached cautiously, eyes scanning Camp. Well-armed and determined, but Camp was ready. Silence fell, each side waiting. Coda stepped forward, urging hunters to turn back. Lila held breath, hoping they'd listen. She knew Camp was strong, but risks were real. Lead Hunter sneered, unwilling to back down. Raised weapon, standoff escalated. Coda remained calm, a steady force. Lila trusted him, knowing he'd protect. First shot rang out, chaos erupted. Camp's defenses held strong. Lila ensured Jonah's safety, then joined others. She fought alongside friends, each person defending home. Sounds of battle filled air. Lila felt fear and determination focus on protecting Camp. Coda was commanding, leading defense. Strategy and strength inspired. Lila watched, feeling pride in resolve. Battle raged, each side giving all. Camp members fought fiercely, determination unwavering. Lila felt unity, knowing they were together. Hunters faltered, Camp's defenses strong. Attackers retreated, realizing they were outmatched. Lila felt relief, but caution. They won battle, but at cost. Camp regrouped, tending to injured. Lila moved through Camp, helping where needed. Heart heavy with what faced, but proud of resilience. Aftermath, Coda gathered Camp. He praised efforts, acknowledging challenges. Lila listened, heart full of gratitude for community. They faced danger, emerging stronger. Camp began healing, rebuilding. Each person played a part. Lila worked tirelessly, focused on future. They had to be ready for anything, ensuring home remained safe. As night fell, Camp gathered, spirits lifted by warmth. Lila sat with Jonah, feeling peace. They came far, building life together. Coda joined, presence comforting. They talked, reflecting on battle and community strength. Lila felt respect, grateful for leadership and friendship. Their bond deepened through challenges rooted in trust. Lila knew they could face anything together, protecting home and building future filled with hope. Stars twinkled, Lila felt calm. They weathered storm, stronger and united. Road wouldn't be easy, but with Coda and Camp, she was ready. Together, they would protect life built, ensuring future filled with promise. Lila felt hope, knowing they weren't alone. They found a place where they belonged, a home safe and free. After battle, Camp needed a secure location. Coda and others scouted, finding hidden valley surrounded by barriers. Perfect for needs, a place to start anew. Lila helped organize move, ensuring readiness. Camp members packed belongings. A big task, but filled with hope. Moving to safety to build lasting home. Move day arrived, Camp set out together. Traveled in group, supporting each other. Journey long, but promise of new beginning kept spirits high. Lila felt excitement and anxiety. Move was big step, but necessary for safety. As they walked, Lila thought about life left behind. Old Camp, a refuge where she grew. Memories filled with gratitude, but time to move forward. Jonah walked beside, hand in hers. Curious about journey, asking questions. Lila reassured, determined to build life for him. Hidden Valley was perfect. Natural landscape offered protection, space to grow. Groups set to work, building shelters and organizing. Sense of purpose, each contributing to success. Lila eager to help build new life, working alongside others. Unity strong, bonds carrying through hard work. Days passed, camp took shape. Shelters built, gardens planted, communal spaces created. Lila felt satisfaction watching new home come to life. A place to be free to build future together. Coda and Lila discussed future, contemplating settling. Shared dreams of thriving community, children growing safe. Vision brought them closer, partnership rooted in respect. Lila embraced leadership, guiding community. Ensured needs met, listening and finding solutions. Confidence grew, leadership a strength. New location offered growth opportunities. Camp members explored, finding resources. Alara watched people settling into roles. Move was challenge but chance for renewal. Alara felt purpose, building lasting community. Camp more than home, a place of trust and support. Evenings by fire, time for reflection. Members shared stories and laughter, bonds strengthening. Alara felt belonging, part of something special. Koda's presence constant, leadership guiding. Alara admired strength and compassion, grateful for partnership. Relationship grew, grounded in love and respect. As camp settled, Alara felt peace. They faced challenges, but emerged stronger. Journey difficult but brought to place to thrive. Alara stood at camp edge, looking over home. Landscape stretched, filled with promise. Gratitude filled her, knowing they were safe. Future bright, filled with dreams. Alara ready to face challenges with Koda and camp. Together, they'd build life filled with hope and happiness. Sunset, sky painted, Alara felt calm. They came far, much to look forward to. Turned to camp, heart full of hope. Together, they'd face challenges, protecting home and future. Life in New Camp settled. Community grew stronger. Valley provided safety, allowing focus on future. Days busy but fulfilling. Alara and Koda spoke of future. Dreamed of thriving community where children grew safe. Vision brought them closer, partnership rooted in respect. Alara grateful for Koda's presence, guiding camp through challenges. Peace fragile, news threatened stability. Powerful figure sought revenge. Influential and resourceful, formidable threat. News spread unease, danger reminder. Koda called meeting serious. Explained situation, emphasizing vigilance. Prepared for anything, protect home and each other. Alara felt fear and determination. Faced threats before, would again. Camp rallied, united by struggle and determination. Each took role, keeping watch, gathering supplies, reinforcing defenses. Alara worked tirelessly, ensuring readiness. Despite threat, life continued. Alara felt pride in resilience, knowing they'd face challenge together. Community strong, built on trust and experiences. Alara spent time with Jonah, ensuring safety. Answered questions, reassurance, reminder of future. Preparations continued, Alara reflected on journey. From auction to now, strong and confident. Camp gave place to grow and thrive. Koda and Alara discussed strategies, planning for possibilities. Worked closely, partnership strength and stability. Alara admired Koda's calm, grateful for guidance. Threat real, but Alara felt calm, knowing readiness. Trusted community strength, knowing they'd face challenge together. Days passed, tension eased. Preparations complete, camp ready. Alara felt calm, knowing readiness. One evening, Alara shared story by fire. Spoke of journey, struggles, and triumphs. Words testament to strength and resilience, reminder of community and hope. Camp listened, faces reflecting understanding. Alara felt connection, part of something bigger. Shared journey strength, reminder not alone. Koda shared journey, hopes and dreams. Words wisdom and compassion, guiding light. Alara felt respect, grateful for leadership and friendship. Night deepened, camp settled. Alara felt peace, ready to face challenges. Future bright, filled with dreams. Alara knew challenges ahead, but ready with Koda and camp. Together, they'd build life of hope and happiness. Stars twinkled, Alara felt calm. Faced challenges, emerged stronger. Journey difficult but brought to place to thrive. Alara stood at camp edge, looking over home. Landscape filled with promise. Gratitude filled her, knowing they were safe. Future bright, filled with dreams. Alara ready to face challenges with Koda and camp. Together, they'd build life of hope and happiness. Camp weathered storm, peace settled. Community thrived, each contributing to growth. Alara felt satisfaction watching life built. Alara embraced leadership, guiding community. Confidence grew, rooted in trust. Pillar of strength, source of comfort. Koda led with wisdom, presence reassuring. Alara grateful for partnership, building meaningful life. Days busy with work and laughter. Valley echoed with life, testament to resilience. Alara spent time with Jonah watching play, proud of safe environment. One morning, Alara watched sun rise over valley. light filled with hope for future, world full of promise. Lila decided to document journey, preserving stories. Found ledger began writing. Words reflection of struggles and triumphs. Wrote about auction, fear felt. Chronicled escape, journey to camp, community built. Words captured essence of journey, testament to strength and resilience. As Lila wrote, reflected on transformation. From woman she was to strong and confident. Camp gave place to grow and thrive, family that cared. Coda often joined, sharing memories. Together, captured camp spirit, bonds holding together. Words celebration of life, record of hope. Camp continued to grow, new members joined. Each brought skills, enriching community. Lila welcomed, helping find place. Life not without challenges, but community faced with strength. Learned to rely on each other, support and protect. Lila grateful for family built. Seasons changed, camp adapted. Valley provided all needed. Lila felt connection to land, grateful for refuge. Coda and Lila's relationship grew, grounded in love. Shared hopes and dreams, partnership strength and joy. Contentment filled Lila, building life of promise. One evening, Lila stood with Jonah. Watched sky change, peace-filled moment. Grateful for place safe and free. Jonah asked about future, curiosity. Lila smiled, heart full of hope. Told about dreams and possibilities. Lila knew road not easy, but ready to face with Coda and camp. Found place belonged, community that loved. Together, build life of hope and happiness. Stars appeared, Lila felt calm. Faced challenges, emerged stronger. Journey difficult, but brought to place to thrive. With breath, Lila turned to camp, heart full of hope. Together, face challenges, protect home and build future. Journey of courage and resilience, testament to community and love. Lila stood in line, holding her baby, Jonah, close to her chest. Her feet felt cold and sore on the dusty ground. The town was small and rough, with wooden buildings and a few scattered people. The sun beat down, making everything hot and dry. Around her, other women stood in silence, all waiting. They were all here for the same reason, though no one spoke of it. The air was heavy with fear and resignation. The auctioneer's voice cut through the air like a knife. He stood on a wooden platform, calling out numbers and names. To him, the women were just goods to be sold. Each time he spoke, Lila felt a chill run down her spine. She looked at Jonah, who was asleep in her arms. She hoped he would stay asleep, not wanting him to feel the fear she felt. Lila thought about how she ended up here. Her husband had died not long after Jonah was born. She tried to make a life for herself and her son. But it was hard. Work was scarce, and people were not kind to a woman alone. She had trusted a man who promised help, but instead, he brought her here to be sold. It was a betrayal she had not expected. As the auctioneer called out, Lila felt her heart race. Her turn was coming. She wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go. The crowd watched, some with interest, others with indifference. She felt like an animal in a cage, trapped and helpless. When the auctioneer reached her, he paused. He looked at Lila, then at Jonah. The crowd murmured, some voices rising above the others. Someone offered a low price, and laughter followed. Lila tightened her grip on Jonah, feeling panic rise in her chest. Then, from the edge of the crowd, a man stepped forward. He was tall and had a strong presence. He wore clothes that marked him as different from the others. His eyes were sharp, and his expression was serious. The crowd turned to look at him, curious and uncertain. The man held out a small object. It was a tribal artifact, something unique and valuable. He offered it to the auctioneer, saying it was in exchange for Lila's freedom. The auctioneer hesitated, unsure. The crowd whispered, some in surprise, others in disbelief. Lila watched, her heart pounding. The man's words were clear. She was not property. She felt a flicker of hope, something she had almost forgotten. The auctioneer, seeing the artifact's worth, nodded reluctantly. The crowd murmured again, but no one protested. The man gestured for Lila to step down from the platform. She hesitated, then moved slowly, her legs trembling. She clutched Jonah, afraid this was some cruel trick. But the man's expression was calm and steady, giving her a sense of safety. As she stepped off the platform, the crowd parted. The man guided her through, his presence a shield against the curious eyes. Lila felt the weight of their gazes but kept moving, focused on the path ahead. Once clear of the crowd, Lila turned to the man. She wanted to thank him, to ask why he had helped her. But words failed her. The man seemed to understand. He nodded, then gestured for her to follow. They walked together, leaving the town behind. The noise faded, replaced by the sound of their footsteps and the wind. Lila glanced at Jonah, who slept peacefully. The man's presence was a comfort, though she knew nothing about him. As they walked, Lila tried to calm her racing thoughts. She was free, but the future was uncertain. She had no idea where they were going or what awaited them. But for the first time in a long while, she felt a glimmer of hope. The man led her through the rough terrain, always keeping a steady pace. He seemed to know where he was going, which eased some of Lila's fears. She followed, trusting him despite her doubts. Finally, they reached a small clearing. It was quiet, surrounded by trees and the sound of nature. The man stopped and turned to Lila. He gestured for her to rest, pointing to a spot by a small stream. She nodded, grateful for the chance to sit. Lila lowered herself to the ground, careful not to wake Jonah. She watched as the man moved to the stream, filling a container with water. He brought it back, offering it to her. She took it with a nod, drinking deeply. As she rested, Lila wondered about the man. Why had he helped her? What did he want in return? She knew the world was not kind and help often came with a price. But the man seemed different, though she could not say why. After a while, the man sat nearby. He did not speak, but his presence was reassuring. Lila felt a sense of calm, something she had not felt in a long time. She looked at Jonah, then at the man, feeling a connection forming. The man finally spoke, his voice quiet but firm. He introduced himself as Koda. He did not share much, only that he understood what it meant to be alone and in danger. Lila listened, sensing the truth in his words. Koda explained the artifact he had used to free her. It was meaningful to him, a symbol of his heritage and his promise to help others. Lila felt a deep gratitude, though she struggled to express it. As the sun began to set, Koda stood ready to continue their journey. Lila rose too, adjusting Jonah in her arms. She looked at Koda, feeling a newfound respect and trust. Together, they set off into the growing darkness, leaving the past behind. Lila's mind was still filled with questions, but for now she was content to follow. She knew she had a long road ahead, but with Koda's help, she believed they could find a new beginning. As they walked, she felt the weight of her fears lift, replaced by a sense of possibility. Lila followed Koda, her heart a mix of hope and uncertainty. The path ahead was rugged, filled with rocks and fallen branches. Koda moved with ease, his steps sure and confident. Lila tried to match his pace, careful not to stumble. Jonah slept soundly against her chest, his small breaths a comfort to her. The sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. The air grew cooler, a welcome change from the day's heat. Lila focused on Koda's figure ahead, trusting him to lead them somewhere safe. Her mind was full of questions, but she kept them to herself, not wanting to break the silence. As they walked, Lila's thoughts drifted back to her life before the auction. She remembered the small house she had shared with her husband and the dreams they had for their future. Those dreams had shattered with his death, leaving her to fend for herself and Jonah. She had tried to be strong, to find work and provide for her son, but the world was harsh. People judged her, a young widow with a baby, and offers of help often came with strings attached. The betrayal that led her to the auction still stung. She had trusted a man who promised her a job and a safe place to stay. Instead, he had brought her to that dusty town, intending to sell her. The memory of his deceit made her shudder. But she pushed it aside, focusing on the present and the man who had saved her. After a long walk, they reached a dense forest. The trees stood tall, their leaves whispering in the wind. Koda led Lila through the thick underbrush, his path winding and hidden. She followed closely, feeling the forest close in around them. The sound of nature was all around, a gentle melody that eased some of her tension. Koda finally stopped at a small clearing, barely visible from the outside. It was a hidden camp nestled safely among the trees. A few tents and makeshift shelters dotted the area, and a fire burned softly in the center. Lila looked around, taking in the sight of people moving about, their faces wary but kind. Koda gestured for her to sit by the fire, where warmth and light offered comfort. Lila lowered herself to the ground, adjusting Jonah in her arms. She watched as Koda spoke to a few people, their expressions serious. They glanced at her, then nodded, accepting her presence. Lila felt a sense of relief wash over her. This place was different, a refuge for those who needed it. She could see it in the way people moved, their eyes holding stories of struggle and survival. Here, she was not alone. These people understood, and that knowledge eased some of her fears. Koda returned to her side, sitting down and offering her some food. Lila took it gratefully, realizing how hungry she was. She ate slowly, savoring each bite, while Jonah continued to sleep. Koda watched her, his gaze gentle and understanding. As they sat by the fire, Koda began to share his story. He spoke quietly, his voice steady. He talked about his own losses, the family he had lost to violence and betrayal. His journey had been long and hard, but it had shaped him into the man he was now. A protector, a guide for those in need. Lila listened, feeling a deep connection to his words. She could see the pain in his eyes, but also the strength. He had suffered just as she had, yet he chose to help others. It was a choice she respected and admired. Koda explained the camp's purpose, a haven for outcasts and fugitives. People who had nowhere else to go, who needed time to heal and find themselves again. Lila felt a sense of belonging, something she had not felt in a long time. Here, she could start anew, away from the harsh judgments of the world. As the night deepened, the camp settled into a quiet rhythm. People moved about, tending to small tasks, their faces relaxed under the firelight. Lila watched them, feeling both an outsider and a part of this community. She knew it would take time to adjust, but she was ready to try. Koda spoke again, his voice low and calm. He told her of the skills she could learn here, ways to survive and protect herself. Lila nodded, eager to learn. She wanted to be strong for herself and for Jonah. She wanted to build a life where they could be safe. As they talked, Lila began to trust Koda more. His presence was steadying, his words a source of comfort. She realized that they shared an understanding born from their hardships and resilience. It was a bond that felt natural and right. Eventually, Koda stood ready to show her where she could rest. Lila followed, her steps lighter than before. He led her to a small tent, simple but warm. Inside, she laid Jonah down, watching him settle into a peaceful sleep. She sat beside him, feeling exhaustion pull at her. Koda paused at the entrance, looking back at her. Lila met his gaze, feeling gratitude and something more, a sense of hope. She knew the journey ahead would not be easy, but with Koda's help, she believed they could find a new beginning. As she lay down beside Jonah, Lila closed her eyes, letting the sounds of the camp lull her to sleep. Her mind was still full of questions, but for now, she felt a sense of peace. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but she was ready to face them. With Koda and the camp, she had a chance to build a future for her and Jonah, a life free from fear and uncertainty. Lila woke up to the sounds of the camp stirring to life. The air was cool and the first light of dawn crept through the tent's opening. Jonah was still asleep, his tiny chest rising and falling in a steady rhythm. Lila took a moment to watch him, feeling a deep sense of love and responsibility. She got up quietly, careful not to disturb him. Outside, the camp was already bustling. People moved about, tending to morning chores and preparing for the day. Lila felt a sense of purpose as she stepped out of the tent, ready to join them. Koda was nearby, talking with a group of people. He saw Lila and nodded, a silent acknowledgement of their shared journey. Lila joined him, listening as he explained the tasks for the day. Everyone had a role, a part to play in keeping the camp running smoothly. Lila was assigned to help with gathering supplies. It was a simple task, but important. She joined a few others, and together they set off into the forest. As they walked, Lila felt the weight of her worries start to lift. The forest was peaceful and the company of others was reassuring. She worked alongside other women, each with their own story. Some were young, others older, but all had faced hardships. They shared their tales as they worked, voices low but steady. Lila listened, feeling a connection with each one. Their stories reminded her that she was not alone in her struggles. As the day went on, Lila learned more about the camp and its people. She watched how they supported each other, sharing what little they had. It was a community built on trust and survival, a place where each person mattered. Lila felt a growing sense of belonging, something she had not felt in a long time. In the afternoon, Koda gathered everyone by the fire. He spoke about the importance of learning new skills, of being able to protect themselves and each other. Lila listened intently, eager to learn. She wanted to be strong, to ensure that she and Jonah could have a safe future. Koda began teaching them basic survival skills. How to find food, build a shelter, and defend themselves if needed. Lila followed his instructions, determined to master each task. She was not alone, others were learning alongside her, each person helping the next. As she practiced, Lila felt her confidence grow. She was no longer the frightened woman from the auction. Here, she was capable and strong, someone who could take care of herself and her son. It was a transformation she embraced, feeling proud of her progress. Over time, Lila formed deeper connections with the women in the camp. They shared meals, stories, and laughter, their bonds strengthening with each passing day. Lila no longer felt like an outsider. She was part of something bigger, a community that cared for and protected each other. Through their stories, Lila learned about Koda's past. He had suffered great loss, but instead of letting it break him, he chose to help others. His strength and compassion inspired her, and she felt a deep respect for him. Their relationship grew, rooted in mutual respect and shared experiences. Lila noticed how Koda was always there, guiding and supporting the camp. He was a leader, but not through force. He led by example, his kindness and patience a guiding light for everyone. Lila was grateful for his presence, knowing that her life had changed for the better because of him. Despite the peace in the camp, there was always an underlying tension. The threat of bounty hunters loomed, a constant reminder of the danger they faced. Lila knew that they had to be ready for anything to protect themselves and their newfound home. One evening, as the sun set, Koda gathered the camp together. He spoke of the risks they faced and the need to stay vigilant. Lila listened, feeling the weight of his words. She understood the importance of being prepared, of standing together against any threat. The camp members nodded in agreement, their resolve clear. They were a family bound by their shared struggles and determination to survive. Lila felt a sense of pride, knowing she was part of something strong and resilient. As the days turned into weeks, Lila settled into her new life. She woke each day with a sense of purpose, ready to face whatever challenges came her way. The camp became a home, a place where she and Jonah could be safe and loved. Lila often thought about the future, about the life she wanted to build for her son. She dreamed of a world where he could grow up free from fear, surrounded by people who cared for him. It was a dream she held close, determined to make it a reality. In quiet moments, Lila would sit with Koda, sharing her hopes and fears. He listened, offering words of wisdom and support. Their bond deepened, a friendship forged in the fires of their shared journey. Lila knew the road ahead would not be easy, but she was not afraid. She had found strength in herself and in the community around her. Together, they would face whatever came their way, ready to protect their freedom and each other. As night fell, Lila sat by the fire, watching the flames dance. Jonah slept peacefully in her lap, his face calm and innocent. She looked around at the camp, at the people who had become her family. Her heart was full, knowing that she had found a place where she truly belonged. In that moment, Lila felt a deep sense of peace. She had come so far from the frightened woman she once was. Here, in this hidden camp, she had found a new beginning. A life filled with hope, love, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Life in the camp continued its steady rhythm. Each day brought new tasks and challenges, but the sense of community made everything easier. Lila felt herself growing stronger and more capable. She took pride in her role, helping gather food, tend to the camp, and care for Jonah. One morning, as the camp was waking up, a sense of unease spread through the group. Whispers traveled quickly, and Lila noticed the worried looks on people's faces. Koda called a meeting by the fire, his expression serious. He explained that scouts had spotted bounty hunters near the camp. They were searching for runaways, likely drawn by the promise of a reward. The news sent a chill through Lila, a stark reminder of the danger they faced. She felt a mix of fear and determination. This was their home and they had to protect it. Koda laid out a plan for defense. Each person had a role, whether it was setting traps, keeping watch, or preparing supplies. Lila listened carefully, her mind racing with thoughts of Jonah. She knew she had to be strong for him to ensure his safety. The camp moved into action, each person focused and determined. Lila joined a group setting up defenses around the perimeter. They worked quickly, using the natural landscape to their advantage. She felt a surge of pride as she helped, knowing they were all working together to protect their home. As night fell, the camp gathered around the fire. The air was tense, but there was also a sense of unity. They shared a meal, their voices low but steady. Lila looked at Jonah, who was playing nearby, blissfully unaware of the danger. She vowed to keep him safe, no matter what. The next morning, the camp was on high alert. Koda and a few others took turns keeping watch, scanning the forest for any signs of movement. Lila stayed close to Jonah, her senses heightened. She knew they had to be ready for anything. The day passed slowly, each moment filled with anticipation. Lila's heart was heavy with worry, but she pushed it aside, focusing on the task at hand. She helped prepare supplies, making sure they had everything needed in case they had to leave quickly. As the sun began to set, a shout rang out from the edge of the camp. Bounty hunters had been spotted, moving through the forest toward them. The camp sprang into action, each person taking their position. Lila felt a rush of adrenaline as she grabbed Jonah, holding him close. Koda took charge, his voice calm and steady. He directed people to their places, ensuring everyone knew what to do. Lila felt a surge of confidence. knowing they were in good hands. She stood with the others, ready to face whatever came their way. The bounty hunters approached cautiously, their eyes scanning the camp. They were rough-looking men, armed and dangerous. Alara's heart pounded, but she stood her ground, determined to protect her son and her new family. A tense standoff ensued, both sides watching and waiting. Kota stepped forward, speaking firmly. He warned the bounty hunters to leave, to turn back now and avoid a fight. Alara held her breath, hoping they would listen. The lead hunter sneered, raising his weapon. The camp braced for a fight, but Kota remained calm. He spoke again, his words carrying an unshakable confidence. Slowly, the bounty hunters began to back down, realizing they were outmatched. The tension in the air slowly dissipated as the bounty hunters retreated, leaving a chilling warning behind. Alara felt a wave of relief, but also a renewed sense of resolve. They had won this round, but the threat was not over. As the camp regrouped, Kota praised their efforts. Everyone had done their part, standing together to protect their home. Alara felt a deep sense of pride, knowing she had faced her fears and stood strong. That night, the camp gathered around the fire, sharing stories and laughter. The danger had passed, at least for now, but the experience had brought them closer together. Alara looked around at the faces of her new family, feeling grateful for their presence. She thought about the importance of standing her ground, of being strong in the face of adversity. The experience had taught her valuable lessons, ones she would carry with her as they moved forward. Alara knew she had to be ready for whatever came next, to protect Jonah and the life they were building. In the days that followed, the camp settled back into its routine. The threat of the bounty hunters remained, a constant reminder of the world outside. But Alara felt stronger, more prepared to face the challenges ahead. She continued to learn from Kota and the others, honing her skills and growing more confident. Her bond with the camp deepened, each person supporting the other in their shared journey. Alara knew they could face anything together, united in their determination to protect their home. As she watched Jonah play, Alara felt a sense of hope. They had found a place where they could be safe and loved, a community that cared for one another. She knew the road ahead would not be easy, but with Kota and the camp by her side, she was ready to face whatever came next. Alara stood by the fire, watching the flames flicker in the night. She thought about the future, about the life she wanted to build for herself and Jonah. It was a dream filled with hope and possibility, one she was determined to make a reality. With a deep breath, Alara turned her gaze to the stars above. Here, in this hidden camp, she had found her strength and her purpose. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing she was not alone. Together, they would protect their home and the life they were building, no matter the cost. As the camp returned to its usual pace, Alara found herself growing closer to the other women. Each day, they shared tasks and stories, strengthening the bonds that held them together. Alara felt a deep sense of belonging, knowing she was part of a community that cared for each other. The threat of the bounty hunters lingered in their minds, but it also brought them closer. They had faced danger together and come out stronger. Alara felt a newfound confidence, bolstered by the support of her friends and the skills she continued to learn. Alara spent many evenings with Kota, talking quietly by the fire. Their conversations ranged from the practical, discussing the camp's needs, to the personal, sharing dreams and fears. Alara felt a deep trust in Kota, knowing he understood her struggles and hopes. Their bond grew, a mix of friendship and something deeper. She often thought about the stories of the other women. Each had faced their own battles, carrying scars both visible and hidden. Alara learned from their experiences, drawing strength from their resilience. Their stories reminded her of the shared strength that came from standing together. One afternoon, while gathering wood with a group of women, Alara listened as they spoke of their pasts. Some talked about families left behind, others about the hardships they had faced. Alara shared her own story, feeling a sense of release as she spoke. The women listened, nodding in understanding, their empathy a balm to her soul. As they worked, Alara thought about Kota's past. He had shared bits and pieces enough for her to understand his journey. He had lost his family to violence, a pain that resonated with Alara's own loss. Yet, instead of letting it break him, Kota had chosen to help others, to build a safe haven for those in need. One evening, as the camp settled down, Kota sat with Alara by the fire. The night was quiet, the stars bright above them. Lila asked about the artifact he had used to free her, curious about its significance. Kota explained that it was a symbol of his tribe, a piece of his heritage and a reminder of his promise to help those in need. He spoke of his family, of the lessons his parents had taught him. They had valued kindness and strength, traits that Kota carried with him. The artifact was a reminder of those values, of the commitment he had made to protect others. Lila listened, feeling a deep respect for Kota and his journey. His strength and compassion inspired her, and she was grateful for the chance to learn from him. Their bond deepened, rooted in shared experiences and mutual understanding. As the days passed, Lila continued to build connections with the camp members. She learned about their families, their dreams, and their struggles. Each story added to the tapestry of the camp, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Lila and Kota's relationship evolved, grounded in friendship and respect. They worked side by side, each supporting the other in their roles. Their bond was a source of strength, a reminder that they were not alone in their journey. Despite the peace in the camp, the threat of bounty hunters remained. Lila knew they had to stay vigilant, to be ready for anything. She took on more responsibilities, helping organize defenses and ensuring the camp was prepared for any danger. The camp thrived under Kota's leadership, each person contributing to its success. Lila felt a sense of pride in her role, knowing she was helping to build a safe haven for her son and the others. She was no longer the frightened woman from the auction, but a capable and confident leader. One day, while working with the other women, Lila realized how far she had come. She was no longer defined by her past, but by the choices she made each day. Her journey had been difficult, but it had brought her to a place of strength and hope. As night fell, Lila sat by the fire, watching the flames dance. Jonah played nearby, his laughter a sweet melody in the evening air. Lila felt a deep sense of gratitude, knowing she had found a place where she and her son could be safe and loved. Kota joined her, his presence a comforting weight beside her. They talked quietly, their voices blending with the sounds of the night. Lila shared her hopes for the future, dreams of a world where Jonah could grow up free from fear. Kota listened, his gaze steady and understanding. He spoke of his own hopes of building a community where everyone could thrive. Their dreams aligned, a shared vision of a better future. The fire crackled, casting warm light over the camp. Lila looked around, taking in the faces of her new family. Each person was a testament to resilience, a reminder that they were not alone in their struggles. Lila knew the road ahead would not be easy, but she was ready to face whatever came her way. With Kota and the camp by her side, she believed they could build a future filled with hope and possibility. As the stars twinkled above, Lila felt a sense of peace. She had found her place, a home where she could be strong and free. No matter what the future held, she knew they would face it together, united in their determination to protect the life they had built. Life in the camp continued as usual, with everyone working together to maintain their safe haven. Lila felt a deep sense of belonging and purpose. Each day she learned more, her confidence growing with every new skill she mastered. The bonds she formed with others were strong, built on trust and shared experiences. One morning, as the camp went about its daily routines, a scout returned with troubling news. A new group of bounty hunters was tracking them. These hunters were said to be more ruthless than the last, willing to do whatever it took to capture their targets. The news sent a ripple of unease through the camp. Kota called a meeting by the fire, his expression serious. He explained the situation, emphasizing the need for everyone to be vigilant. They had to prepare for another confrontation, ensuring their defenses were strong and their supplies ready. Lila listened, feeling a mix of fear and determination. They had faced danger before, and they would do so again. Kota assigned roles, each person tasked with a specific duty. Lila took on a leadership role, helping to organize the camp's defenses. She worked closely with Kota, strategizing and ensuring everyone knew their part. Her mind raced with plans, determined to protect their home. As they worked, tensions rose. The threat of the new bounty hunters loomed over them, a constant reminder of the danger they faced. Lila pushed aside her fears, focusing on the task at hand. She had to be strong for herself and for Jonah. One afternoon, as Lila checked the camp's perimeter, she noticed something was off. Supplies were missing, and a sense of unease settled over her. She alerted Kota, and together they conducted a thorough search. It became clear that someone within the camp had betrayed them, taking supplies and information to the bounty hunters. The discovery added a new layer of tension and mistrust among the group. Lila felt a mix of anger and disbelief. They had worked so hard to build a safe community, and now that trust had been violated. She knew they had to find the betrayer to prevent further damage. Kota called another meeting, addressing the camp with a calm but firm voice. He urged everyone to be honest, to come forward if they had any information. Lila watched the faces around her, searching for any signs of guilt. She felt the weight of the situation, knowing they had to act quickly. The camp's atmosphere was tense, each person on edge as they awaited answers. Lila continued her duties, her mind focused on finding the betrayer. She spoke with the other women, listening carefully to their concerns and observations. Eventually, the truth came to light. A young man, new to the camp, had been passing information to the bounty hunters. He confessed, his eyes filled with regret and fear. Lila felt a mix of emotions, anger at his betrayal, but also a sense of pity. He had been desperate, trying to protect his own family. Kota handled the situation with grace, ensuring the young man understood the gravity of his actions. The camp voted on a course of action, deciding to give him a chance to make amends. It was a difficult decision, but one rooted in their values of forgiveness and second chances. With the betrayal exposed, the camp redoubled its efforts to prepare for the coming threat. Lila worked tirelessly, ensuring their defenses were strong and supplies stocked. She felt a renewed sense of determination, knowing they had to be ready for anything. The camp members came together, their bonds strengthened by the shared challenge. Each person played a part, working side by side to protect their home. Lila felt a deep sense of pride in their unity, knowing they were stronger together. As the days passed, the tension in the camp began to ease. The preparations were nearly complete, and the camp was ready to face whatever came their way. Lila felt a sense of calm, knowing they had done everything possible to protect themselves. Despite the looming threat, life in the camp continued. People laughed and shared stories, their spirits lifted by the strength of their community. Lila watched Jonah play, his laughter a reminder of the future they were fighting for. One evening, as the camp gathered around the fire, Kota spoke of their journey. He praised their efforts, acknowledging the challenges they had faced and overcome. Lila listened, her heart full of gratitude for the family they had built. Kota shared the significance of the tribal artifact once more, a symbol of his commitment to helping others. Lila felt a deep respect for him, knowing his leadership had guided them through difficult times. Their bond was strong, a partnership built on trust and shared goals. As the night deepened, Lila sat by the fire, reflecting on their journey. They had come so far, overcoming challenges and building a life together. The road ahead would not be easy, but she was ready to face it with Kota and the camp by her side. The stars twinkled above, a reminder of the vastness of the world. Lila felt a sense of peace, knowing they were not alone. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in their determination to protect their home and build a future filled with hope. The camp was quiet in the early morning light, each member focused on their tasks. The sense of calm belied the tension that simmered beneath the surface. They all knew the threat was real and the bounty hunters could strike at any moment. Lila moved through the camp, checking on supplies and speaking with other members. Her heart was steady, her mind focused. She had to be strong, not just for herself and Jonah, but for everyone who relied on her. Kota had been working tirelessly, organizing defenses and ensuring everyone was prepared. His leadership was a source of strength for the camp. Lila admired his calm and steady presence, grateful for his guidance and resolve. As the sun climbed higher, a shout rang out from the edge of the camp. The bounty hunters were approaching, their figures visible through the trees. The camp sprang into action, each person taking their position. Lila felt a surge of adrenaline, her senses heightened. Kota moved quickly, directing people to their places. His voice was calm but firm, instilling confidence in those around him. Lila joined the others, her heart pounding but her resolve firm. She was ready to protect her home and her family. The bounty hunters approached cautiously, their eyes scanning the camp. They were well-armed and determined, but the camp members were ready. A tense silence fell over the clearing, each side waiting for the other to make a move. Kota stepped forward, speaking with authority. He urged the bounty hunters to turn back, to avoid a confrontation. Lila held her breath, hoping they would listen. She knew the camp was strong, but she also understood the risks of a fight. The lead hunter sneered, unwilling to back down. He raised his weapon, and the standoff escalated. Kota remained calm, his presence a steadying force for the camp. Lila felt a deep trust in him, knowing he would do everything possible to protect them. The first shot rang out, breaking the tense silence. Chaos erupted as both sides clashed, the camp's defenses holding strong against the onslaught. Lila moved quickly, ensuring Jonah was safe before joining the others. She fought alongside her friends, each person doing their part to defend their home. The air was filled with the sounds of battle, the clash of weapons, and the cries of those caught in the fight. Lila felt a mix of fear and determination, her focus on protecting the camp. Kota was a force to be reckoned with, his presence commanding respect. He led the defense, his strategy, and strength and inspiration to those around him. Lila watched him, feeling a surge of pride in their shared resolve. The battle raged on, each side giving everything they had. The camp members fought with a fierceness born of necessity, their determination to protect their home unwavering. Lila felt a deep sense of unity, knowing they were all in this together. As the fight continued, the bounty hunters began to falter. The camp's defenses held strong, their preparations paying off. Slowly, the attackers began to retreat, realizing they were outmatched. Lila felt a wave of relief, but also a sense of caution. They had won this battle, but at a cost. The camp regrouped, tending to the injured and assessing the damage. Lila moved through the camp, helping wherever she was needed. Her heart was heavy with the weight of what they had faced, but she also felt a deep sense of pride in their resilience. In the aftermath, Kota gathered the camp together. He praised their efforts, acknowledging the challenges they had overcome. Lila listened, her heart full of gratitude for the community they had built. They had faced danger and come out stronger, united in their determination to protect their home. The camp began the process of healing and rebuilding, each person playing a part in the recovery. Lila worked tirelessly, her mind focused on the future. She knew they had to be ready for whatever came next to ensure their home remained a safe haven. As night fell, the camp gathered around the fire, their spirits lifted by the warmth and light. Lila sat with Jonah, feeling a deep sense of peace. They had come so far, overcoming challenges and building a life together. Kota joined her, his presence a comforting weight beside her. They spoke quietly, reflecting on the battle and the strength of their community. Lila felt a deep respect for him, grateful for his leadership and friendship. Their bond had grown through the challenges they faced, rooted in trust and shared goals. Lila knew they could face anything together, united in their determination to protect their home and build a future filled with hope. As the stars twinkled above, Lila felt a sense of calm. They had come through the storm, stronger and more united than ever. She knew the road ahead would not be easy, but with Kota and the camp by her side, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would protect the life they had built, ensuring a future filled with promise and possibility. Lila felt a deep sense of hope, knowing they were not alone in their journey. They had found a place where they truly belonged, a home where they could be safe and free. After the battle, the camp knew they needed to find a more secure location. Kota and a few others scouted the area, looking for a place that would offer better protection. They found a hidden valley, deep within the wilderness, surrounded by natural barriers. It was perfect for their needs, a place where they could start anew. Lila helped organize the move, ensuring everyone and everything was ready. The camp members packed their belongings, each person taking responsibility for their own supplies. It was a big task, but one filled with hope. They were moving to a place where they could be safer, where they could build a lasting home. The day of the move arrived, and the camp set out together. They traveled in a group, staying close and supporting each other. The journey was long, but the promise of a new beginning kept their spirits high. Lila felt a sense of excitement mixed with a touch of anxiety. This move was a big step, but it was necessary for their safety and future. As they walked, Lila thought about the life they were leaving behind. The old camp had been a place of refuge, where she had found strength and friendship. It was where she had grown into the person she was now, capable and confident. The memories filled her with gratitude, but she knew it was time to move forward. Jonah walked beside her, his small hand in hers. He was curious about the journey, asking questions about their new home. Lila answered as best she could, reassuring him that they were going to a place where they could be happy and safe. She felt a deep sense of responsibility for his future, determined to build a life where he could thrive. The hidden valley was everything they had hoped for. The natural landscape offered protection, and there was plenty of space for the camp to grow. The group set to work, building shelters and organizing their new home. There was a sense of purpose in their actions, each person contributing to the community's success. Lila threw herself into the work, eager to help build their new life. She worked alongside the others, her hands busy and her heart full. The sense of unity was strong, the bonds they had formed carrying them through the hard work. As the days passed, the camp began to take shape. Shelters were built, gardens planted, and communal spaces created. Lila felt a deep sense of satisfaction watching their new home come to life. It was a place where they could be free, where they could build a future together. Kota and Lila often discussed the future, contemplating the possibility of settling down and building a permanent home. They shared dreams of a community where everyone could thrive, where their children could grow up safe and loved. Their shared vision brought them closer, their partnership rooted in mutual respect and shared goals. Lila embraced her role as a leader, guiding and caring for the community. She worked to ensure everyone's needs were met, listening to concerns and finding solutions. Her confidence grew with each success, her leadership a source of strength for the camp. The new location offered opportunities for growth and prosperity. The camp members explored the area, finding resources and establishing new routines. Lila watched as people settled into their roles, each person contributing to the community's success. The move had been a challenge, but it had also been a chance for renewal. Lila felt a sense of purpose, knowing they were building something lasting and meaningful. The camp was more than just a place to live, it was a home, a community built on trust and support. Evenings by the fire became a time for reflection and connection. The camp members shared stories and laughter, their bonds strengthening with each passing day. Lila felt a deep sense of belonging, knowing she was part of something special. Kota was a constant presence, his leadership guiding the camp through the challenges of the move. Lila admired his strength and compassion, grateful for his partnership. Their relationship had grown, grounded in friendship and respect. They were a team, working together to build a future filled with hope. As the camp settled into its new location, Lila felt a sense of peace. They had faced many challenges, but they had come through stronger and more united than ever. The journey had been difficult, but it had brought them to a place where they could truly thrive. Lila stood at the edge of the camp, looking out over their new home. The landscape stretched before her, filled with promise and possibility. She felt a deep sense of gratitude, knowing they had found a place where they could be safe and free. The future was bright, filled with dreams and opportunities. Lila knew there would be challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them with Kota and the camp by her side. Together, they would build a life filled with hope and happiness, a testament to their strength and resilience. As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Lila felt a sense of calm. They had come so far, and there was still so much to look forward to. She turned back to the camp, her heart full of hope. Together, they would face whatever came their way, united in their determination to protect their home and build a future filled with promise. Life in the new camp settled into a comfortable rhythm. Lila felt the community grow stronger with each passing day. The valley provided safety and resources, allowing everyone to focus on building a future. The days were busy but fulfilling, filled with work, laughter, and the joy of shared success. Lila and Kota often spoke about the future. They dreamed of a community where everyone could thrive, a place where their children could grow up safe and loved. Their shared vision brought them closer, their partnership rooted in mutual respect and shared goals. Lila felt grateful for Kota's presence, his leadership guiding the camp through each challenge. But peace was fragile, and news soon reached the camp that threatened their newfound stability. A powerful figure, angered by the disruption of the auction trade, was seeking revenge. This figure had influence and resources, making them a formidable threat. The news sent a ripple of unease through the camp, a reminder that danger was never far away. Kota called a meeting by the fire, his expression serious. He explained the situation, emphasizing the need for vigilance. They had to be prepared for anything to protect their home and each other. Lila listened, feeling a mix of fear and determination. They had faced threats before, and they would do so again. The camp members rallied together, united by their shared struggle and determination to defend their home. Each person took on a role, whether it was keeping watch, gathering supplies, or reinforcing defenses. Lila worked tirelessly, her mind focused on ensuring the camp was ready for whatever came their way. Despite the looming threat, life in the camp continued. Lila felt a deep sense of pride in their resilience, knowing they would face the challenge together. The community was strong, built on trust and shared experiences. They had faced danger before and come out stronger, united in their determination to protect their home. Lila spent time with Jonah, ensuring he was safe and cared for. She answered his questions about the changes in the camp, reassuring him that they were doing everything possible to keep everyone safe. His innocence was a reminder of what they were fighting for, a future filled with hope and possibility. As preparations continued, Lila took time to reflect on her journey. She thought about the person she had been, the frightened woman from the auction, and the person she was now, strong, capable, and confident. The camp had given her a place to grow and thrive, a community that supported and cared for her. Kota and Lila discussed strategies, planning for every possibility. They worked closely, their partnership a source of strength and stability for the camp. Lila admired Kota's calm and steady presence, grateful for his guidance and leadership. The threat was real, but Lila felt a sense of calm, knowing they had done everything possible to prepare. She trusted in the strength of their community, knowing they would face whatever came their way together. Their bonds were strong, forged through shared struggles and triumphs. As the days passed, the tension in the camp began to ease. The preparations were complete and the camp was ready to face any threat. Lila felt a sense of calm, knowing they had done everything possible to protect themselves. One evening, as the camp gathered around the fire, Lila shared her story. She spoke of her journey, of the struggles and triumphs that had brought her to this point. Her words were a testament to the strength and resilience of the human spirit, a reminder of the power of community and hope. The camp listened, their faces reflecting a mix of emotions, understanding, empathy, and respect. Lila felt a deep sense of connection, knowing she was part of something bigger than herself. Their shared journey was a source of strength, a reminder that they were not alone in their struggles. Koda spoke of his own journey, sharing his hopes and dreams for the future. His words were filled with wisdom and compassion, a guiding light for the camp. Lila felt a deep respect for him, grateful for his leadership and friendship. As the night deepened, the camp settled into a quiet rhythm. Lila felt a sense of peace, knowing they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They had come so far, overcoming obstacles and building a life together. The future was bright, filled with dreams and opportunities. Lila knew there would be challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them with Koda and the camp by her side. Together, they would build a life filled with hope and happiness, a testament to their strength and resilience. As the stars twinkled above, Lila felt a sense of calm. They had faced many challenges, but they had come through stronger and more united than ever. The journey had been difficult, but it had brought them to a place where they could truly thrive. Lila stood at the edge of the camp, looking out over their home. The landscape stretched before her, filled with promise and possibility. She felt a deep sense of gratitude, knowing they had found a place where they could be safe and free. With a deep breath, Lila turned back to the camp, her heart full of hope. Together, they would face whatever came their way, united in their determination to protect their home and build a future filled with promise. The camp had weathered the storm of threats and uncertainty. Peace settled over the valley, allowing life to continue with a sense of normalcy. The community thrived, each member contributing to the growth and harmony of their home. Lila felt a deep sense of satisfaction watching the life they had built together. Lila embraced her role as a leader, guiding the camp with care and compassion. She ensured everyone's needs were met, listening to concerns and finding solutions. Her confidence had grown, rooted in the trust and support of those around her. She had become a pillar of strength, a source of comfort and guidance for the community. Koda continued to lead with wisdom and steadiness. His presence was a constant source of reassurance, his leadership guiding the camp through each challenge. Lila felt grateful for his partnership, knowing they were building something lasting and meaningful together. The days were filled with work and laughter, the camp bustling with activity. People tended to gardens, repaired shelters, and taught their children. The valley echoed with the sounds of life, a testament to the resilience of the community. Lila often spent time with Jonah, watching him play and explore. He had grown into a curious and lively child, his laughter a sweet melody in the air. Lila felt a deep sense of pride, knowing they had created a safe and loving environment for him to grow. One morning, as the sun rose over the valley, Lila stood at the edge of the camp. She watched the light spread across the landscape, filling her with hope for the future. The world felt full of promise, each day an opportunity to build a brighter tomorrow. Lila decided to document their journey, to preserve the stories and experiences that had shaped their lives. She found an empty ledger, its pages waiting to be filled. She began to write, her words a reflection of their struggles and triumphs. She wrote about the auction, the fear and desperation she had felt. She chronicled their escape, the journey to the camp, and the community they had built. Her words captured the essence of their shared journey, a testament to the strength and resilience of the human spirit. As Lila wrote, she reflected on her own transformation. She had come so far from the woman she once was, finding strength in herself and the community. The camp had given her a place to grow and thrive, a family that supported and cared for her. Koda often joined Lila as she wrote, sharing his own memories and insights. Together, they captured the spirit of the camp, the bonds that held them together. Their words were a celebration of life, a record of the hope and love that had guided them through each challenge. The camp continued to grow, new members joining their ranks. Each person brought new skills and stories, enriching the community. Lila welcomed them with open arms, eager to help them find their place in the camp. Life was not without its challenges, but the community faced them with strength and unity. They had learned to rely on each other, to support and protect one another. Lila felt a deep sense of gratitude for the family they had built, knowing they were stronger together. As the seasons changed, The camp adapted and thrived. The valley provided everything they needed, from food and water to shelter and safety. Alara felt a deep connection to the land, grateful for the refuge it had provided. Koda and Alara's relationship continued to grow, grounded in love and respect. They shared hopes and dreams, their partnership a source of strength and joy. Alara felt a deep sense of contentment, knowing they were building a life filled with promise and possibility. One evening, as the sun set over the valley, Alara stood with Jonah at the edge of the camp. They watched the sky change colors, the beauty of the moment filling her with peace. She felt a deep sense of gratitude, knowing they had found a place where they could be safe and free. Jonah looked up at her, his eyes filled with curiosity. He asked about the future, about the world beyond the valley. Alara smiled, her heart full of hope. She told him about the dreams they held, the possibilities that lay ahead. Alara knew the road would not always be easy, but she was ready to face whatever came their way. She had found a place where she truly belonged, a community that supported and loved her. Together, they would continue to build a life filled with hope and happiness. As the stars appeared in the night sky, Alara felt a sense of calm. They had come through many challenges, but they had emerged stronger and more united than ever. The journey had been difficult, but it had brought them to a place where they could truly thrive. With a deep breath, Alara turned back to the camp, her heart full of hope. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in their determination to protect their home and build a future filled with promise. The story of their journey was one of courage and resilience, a testament to the power of community and love. If you loved the story, like the video and subscribe.